Hey there. So, my next guest, active duty military, but he's also in the esports world at the same time. He's finding a way to make both of them work for himself, for his family, for the organization he's working with. And he's overcoming some challenges that he has personally in order to be able to do this. So, this is a fantastic interview, and I know you're all going to love it. Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Gamerpreneur podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bradford Carlton. Today, I have a very special guest for you. I have Carter Rinaldi. Hey there, Carter. How's it going?
I'm going great. How you doing?
That's a beautiful sunny day in Las Vegas. How about yourself?
Oh, it's doing great over here in San Diego. You know, the weather is not winter.
I went to San Diego with my wife after she took the bar exam, and it was something like 68 degrees outside, and we had just come from Ohio. She had short sleeves on, short pants on. Everybody else had scarves and earmuffs and everything. So you know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, I do. Oh, all too well.
I love it. Okay, so Carter, I like getting the show started, getting just right into it. So why don't you begin by just telling us a little bit about yourself, please?
Yeah. Hey, my name's Carter. I've been active duty military the past 3 years.
Thank you for your service.
Of course. I'm starting my transition period here, and I've been in my own time getting myself into the esports industry since May of 2020, and you know it's been a great time. I've learned a lot, and it's been a great way to spend my last year in service. So I'm excited to be here.
Beautiful. All right. So you give me a lot to talk about there. But before we do, I start every interview with a single question. So I'm going to ask you, just like I ask everybody else, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being high, how weird are you, Carter?
Oh, I'm very weird. You got to be weird to spend all your time outside of work, going in and doing all this stuff. So, I mean, it's been quite, my wife definitely looks at me like I'm weird. She's like, you don't want to watch Netflix? I'm like, I gotta get on. You know what I mean? So,
I absolutely get that one.
Oh yeah.
All right. So Carter, this is the Gamerpreneur podcast. So I do need your gaming cred. When did you first start playing video games?
I'm sure you hear this a lot. Everyone always says, I've been playing video games all my life. And, I'm no different. I've been playing video games ever since I can remember. When I had a Nintendo 64 when I was a kid, and then, I eventually got a PlayStation. And then from there, it's just been, a consistent part of my life.
I love it. So what are you playing today then?
Today, I think my friend's trying to get me to play Terraria for the first time. I've actually never played it. So we're going to see how that goes.
Yeah, I'll admit that's been on my Steam wish list for God knows how many years. I've yet to purchase it.
Yeah, I've had it. I've actually owned it for some reason for years, and I've never even opened it, and I don't know why. So I'm probably gonna give that a shot today. I've really been spending a lot of time on World of Warcraft though recently. I'm falling back into that rabbit hole.
Okay, Horde or Alliance?
Alliance.
Yes, another Alliance person. You know how rare it is to find an Alliance person.
Really?
I've had a ton of people on this show, and they play Warcraft like Horde or Alliance. Horde, like every time. What Covenant did you go with?
I went with Necrolord.
Okay, that's a good choice.
Yeah, it worked well with my Frost DK. So.
I'm jealous. I'm a prot warrior. I'm on the low end of that. On the low end of the classes at the moment. All right. Beautiful. In that case, next gaming question I have for you, you've been playing all your life. What's your number one all-time favorite?
Probably again, World of Warcraft. That's been pretty consistent. I remember I was playing RuneScape when I was a kid. I was playing old school RuneScape, and my uncle tried to get me into World of Warcraft, and I was like, I was so opposed to trying something new, and eventually I did, and there was no going back. I think I started playing in 2009, so a little bit later than some of the veterans, but.
Okay. That was Wrath then, huh?
Yep, it was Wrath.
Beautiful. Okay, so fantastic. You are truly a gamer. What do you do to? How about this? So you're active duty at the moment, but you also work for an esports organization. What's your background? Did you just like go straight from school into the military? Like, how'd you get here?
Yeah, I mean, I graduated high school. There was about a year gap. Because I wasn't planning on joining the military, but situations arose, and I decided it was the best thing for my development in my life to go the military route. So
Okay, what branch?
United States Marine Corps.
Beautiful. I don't envy you. My best friend's a Marine.
Oh, it's it's something.
Okay. And so you're doing your service and you decided to get into gaming and esports somehow. Like what led you there?
I don't know. I was in a temporary duty assignment where I had a lot of free time. It was base guard. So most of my shift was kind of just spent sitting in the guardhouse waiting for a patrol, and I had a lot of free time. So I mean, this was 2018, I believe. I started this, but I just when I found Hitmarker, and I found it's these smaller esports organizations that need like team management and things like that, and I decided to throw my hat in the ring. No experience, but these smaller esports organizations, if you're willing to dedicate time, that's all they really need from you. So I did that for a little bit when Apex Legends first kind of got big. I started managing a Apex Legends team, and I knew nothing about battle royales. I knew nothing, but it was a good time. It was a good learning experience, and I did that for about, I think, 6 months, and then there's some roster problems, and eventually I ended up stepping away. And I always had that itch, which is what led me to get back into it in mid 2019.
Okay. And what are you doing now then?
Right now, I work for a startup called Espo. It's a fan engagement platform that is currently pre-launch. It's shaping up to be very exciting, and I'm very excited to see it, what it comes to.
Beautiful. Okay. And what's your role there?
I do business development. So I spend my time talking to esports fans, seeing what they like about the platform, what they don't like about the platform, getting recommendations and, routing it up, helping the marketing team with stuff that specifically regards Dota, because that is my game specialty and another game that's been a big part of my, development. So,
All right. I love it. Okay. So business development is a fancy word for sales, right?
Yeah.
So what are the challenges you're facing then? At this pre-launch, you're trying to get people in. What's happening here?
A big thing for me is I'm the biggest introvert. I am I get social anxiety just typing to someone new, and that's like my whole deal. So it took a lot, definitely way out of my comfort zone. But I found the way that really worked for me was keep it as conversational as possible. You know what I mean? I'm personally, I'm not looking, like, because we're pre-launch, I'm not trying to get you to buy anything. So for me, it was really about get you aware of the platform, have a conversation with you. That kind of helped me, because I get kind of uncomfortable when it's like I'm trying to sell you. I want your money. I don't want your money. I just want to talk to you about esports and what you like, what you don't like. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that was a way that I kind of created for myself to cope with the fact that I'm not that much of a salesperson.
How did that go? Like, was it rough at the start and you kind of found your way, or did you have a mentor? How did you develop that?
It was pretty rough at the start. I had to kind of figure out what mediums I wanted to use, and also what way to kind of be respectful about it. Cause you're talking to a lot of people at once, and you want to kind of expedite the process, but you want to give each conversation at the same time, like the attention it deserves, so to keep it, personable and not like you're just talking to a bot. Cause I've been accused of being a bot before, and I'm always like, no, I promise. Like I'll do one of those CAPTCHA tests for you. I swear I'm actually just trying to talk to you. But over time I've gotten more comfortable with it. I've kind of figured out, a strategy that works. And I feel like I'm able to produce decent results, given that, again, I'm the biggest introvert in the world.
Okay. I love it. I'll admit I kind of done the same thing in the past. At some point you kind of have to have like templates that you're using, even though you edit them. Have you ever forgot to put the person's name in the template? Like,
oh man.
I've left the blank space, like, hello blank. Like, oh no.
Oh yeah. I've actually had it before where, cause I have a few kind of copy pasted things that I'll edit a little bit, I've had it before where I sent the wrong one. And it's just, oh, no.
That person's just write that one off.
Yeah, that one, that's a lost cause. I'm like, I can't redeem myself from that one.
Do you feel like you're developing the skill of being a little more extroverted by doing this?
Yeah, I definitely do. It's definitely brought me out of my comfort zone, and I feel like it's been a good first step. I've actually been accepted. My last 6 months in the military are going to be in a B2B sales program, believe it or not. So I've definitely taken this, and I've run with it. This is something I'm going to, do for the foreseeable future.
Fantastic. Looks like your sales all the way down. You got to get out of that shell. Okay, Card, this is awesome. What makes you good at what you do? I mean, if you were not good at this, you probably would not still be doing it. So like, what unique skills do you possess, or what traits or attributes do you think you're making you good at this job?
I obviously first is just love of esports. Whenever I talked to anyone, especially in the interview stage, I was always very clear, this is my passion. This is what I'm going to do. Esports in any capacity, I want to be in it. I want to be involved in it, and I think that passion is really clear in almost everything I do, regarding anything esports related. So I'd say that's my number one thing. It's just, I want this, you know what I mean? And I am. I think I hope it shines through.
Beautiful. Okay, if you could go back in time and you could talk to yourself back when you were first starting to reach out to organizations in the esports space. I mean, it wasn't all that long ago, I understand. But if you could go back and you could give yourself some advice on how to do it better, what would you tell yourself?
I'd probably tell myself that, the best way to start out is to find a smaller organization and just hone your skills. You know what I mean? You don't need big fancy sponsors, for your organization. You don't need big social media profiles or anything. You just need, especially like when I started out, it was team management is what I was looking into. You just need, a group of players who, want to improve, and you can go from there. I was starting out, when I first was like, I'm going to look at something I can do in esports. I was going to teamliquid.com, look at careers. What do they got here? And that's just starting out. Like, it's okay to not start there. You know what I mean?
You need 15 plus years of experience in esports. It hasn't existed that long.
I know. Yeah. So, it's okay to not start there. It's okay to go after these smaller organizations. It might feel a little bit different, because obviously there's not going to usually be pay involved. I'm very lucky because of my position with the military. I can use my free time and not have to worry about payment. So that's definitely something I tell myself, find a smaller organization and just, grind it out.
Okay. Are you expecting to be paid sometime soon?
Potentially, but it's really not. I make a good salary from the military. I'm able to live comfortably in Southern California. So, I mean, and I think that speaks for itself. Good Lord. I come from Colorado. So when I saw the rent out here, I was floored.
So no on base for you, huh?
No, yeah, my wife and I wanted to live off base and at least have some of our days surrounded by normal people.
You get it. Okay, so for anybody listening out there who might have an interest or passion in getting into esports and kind of get slotted into that business development, role, what advice do you have for them?
Well, I'd say definitely if you're an introvert, prepare to, be out of your shell, prepare for the storm, you know what I mean? It's crazy, but definitely worth it. It's a good field to get into. You kind of get to see, especially with startups, I've learned to love startups. This is awesome. The culture is amazing. The atmosphere is fantastic. So really immerse yourself in that culture, get excited about what you're doing, and, just don't stop grinding, don't stop getting better, and really push yourself, I'd say.
All right. Got any horror stories so far?
Yeah, actually. This was starting out. I'll keep it very general because this might not even be that bad, but in my head it was the worst thing in the world. I was using Discord, and I was, talking to people on esports related channels, and I'd message them and be like, what's up, man, and we'd go from there and just do our thing. And then I had someone get very mad that I contacted them, and this was maybe my first month doing it, so I did not know how to react to it. Just said, I'm sorry, I'll leave you alone, whatever. And then he goes and reports me to the moderation publicly, and I was like, oh God, I just had to step away for an hour. And it was, I don't know why, maybe that's not bad, but that was rough for me. And yeah, I talked to the moderation staff after and smooth things over, and we're all good. But that, I still think about that sometimes. I'm like, Oh man.
Hey, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs, right?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Okay, Carter, I'd talk to you about you a little more personally, if possible.
Mhm.
Specifically, I like to humble you if I can. You see, I believe that we learn the most from our life, from our failures rather than our successes. Because if you succeed, you may not necessarily know what happened, but you did it, right? But if
Mhm.
you fail, it's probably pretty obvious what happened, and then you're able to
Yeah.
learn from it, you're able to grow from it. So I'd like to ask you, what do you consider your biggest failure in life, and what did you learn from it?
Ooh, in life in general. Oh man. Maybe um I'd say in general, I overextend myself too easily, and I think it's caused a lot of issues where I start by overextending myself and maybe it goes well at first, but if I don't start in a sustainable way, you know what I mean? I'll start feeling down on myself, because I'm not hitting the numbers I was last week. I'm not doing this the same way I was last week, and I think it's important to set, realistic expectations for yourself. Don't overextend yourself, especially if you're starting out in something, because, that's something I think a trend that I've had in my life. And that's why I'm kind of making a conscious effort to almost schedule myself and set personal goals that aren't crazy high, you know what I mean? Because you might be able to hit that once, but if it's not sustainable, you're going to start feeling down on yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, fantastic. Thank you for sharing.
Of
Um,
course.
kind of on the flip side, what's something that you're working to improve on in yourself today?
Oh man, I mean, this is just going to be a trend of the conversation now. Definitely my being more extroverted, even coming on the show was, a big thing for me personally. It's doing something like this is something, I never would have even dreamed of doing. I'm thinking about maybe starting to stream on Twitch just to get myself out there more, get talking, get my face out there and all that. So the biggest thing I got to work on is really just kind of putting myself out there, I'd say, in front of people.
Wonderful. All right. Well, the show hasn't been too bad, has it?
No, it's been a great time. Good to talk to you.
I try to make it easy. All right. One more kind of fun question before we start bringing this in for a landing, Carter.
Mhm.
Uh, what is something that you think people misunderstand about you the first time they meet you?
Mm, you know, I'd always hoped, that I didn't get kind of not pushed aside, but, written off being in the military, with my schedule. And I think especially when it comes to getting myself into the industry, it's always been, can he make it work with all the time commitment he has? And I just, especially if there's other people who are in positions to employ people or even just give people internships or part-time things that are active duty military, just know that we can make it work. And I want you to know, like, it's possible for us to make it work and actually bring value to your organization, even on a full-time military schedule. So
Okay.
that's something I want people to know. And it's kind of a misconception that, you're always going to be gone. You're going to deploy all the time. And it's just, no, it's not going to happen like that, especially not now. And it's something that, you just, if you want it bad enough, you'll make it work. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Now, on that note, Carter, so like I'm familiar with a bunch of different organizations
Yeah.
and even military programs to hire veterans, so people who are mustering out and have been discharged. But how would anybody or any business find someone who is active duty?
Oh, there's a lot of great, military esports communities, I'd say. There's even a league, I believe, for where it's like by branch and you got the teams and everything. I think even the Army has an esports team, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, that's just get into those communities and find people who are really passionate, because a lot of people might say, I kind of want to wait till I get out, get out of the military, and that's fine if that's what you want to do, but it is possible to, in some capacity, obviously not a full-time capacity, but it is possible in some capacity to dedicate a good amount of time to it, especially if it's your passion.
Okay,
So
beautiful. Carter, this has been a
yeah.
fantastic interview. Thank you so much. How do people find you? How do they reach out to you? Social media, all of that.
Yeah, my Twitter is Carter_Rinaldi. That's Rinaldi. I have my DMs open. Anyone wants to chat, shoot me a follow, shoot me a message. I'm always here.
Fantastic. All right. Now, as we wrap this up, do you have any final thoughts you want to share? Anything I didn't ask you think we still need to cover?
No, I mean, it's all been great.
Okay. In that case, Carter, thank you so much. I genuinely do appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much for your service and everything.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And for everybody else, I'm going to remind you all, don't be just a gamer, be a gamerpreneur.